So let's talk about something that is really happening right now, and that is that a lot of stylists are feeling stuck where they are. They feel like they're at like this, they've reached their ceiling. Honestly, the whole burnout conversation is like a running conversation. So today we're going to talk about it. My name is Kay. I'm the founder of Hairstylists Hair, and this is the Luxury Hair Extension University, where we master the craft, build the business, and elevate the standard. So class is in session. Let's go. The number one reason why a lot of stylists are feeling stuck is because they are trying to transition into a new space, but they're keeping the same stylist mindset. You cannot go to the next level with the same mindset, the same business practices, the same workflow that got you to where you are today. So we have to change so many things besides just the services in order to get to the next level. Your mindset, your pricing, your clientele, your decision making, everything has to transition with you. Those things can't stay the same and then you just jump to the next level. So what stuck really looks like is a couple of things. And if I call you out to the front of the class, then just come on up to the front of the class, okay? So looking stuck could be being booked and busy. It could be you genuinely not having any time off for yourself, or you feel like if you're not at work, you're not making any money. Like you have to be behind the chair. It can look like you constantly feeling like you have to go out and chase clients. It can look like you're afraid to raise your prices because you're worried about the clients that are going to leave. You're making money, but you feel like your expenses are just eating up all the cash. You're currently doing $100 installs, $200 installs, something like that, and it's just not adding up. No matter how many clients you do, the math is just not mathing, okay? And that's a real thing. That's what feeling stuck looks like. And honestly, some of you are not stuck because you just need more clients. You're feeling stuck because you're trying to build the next level of business, but with the same mindset that you currently have. And it just does not work like that. I'm here to tell you, the mindset that I had building my business to a certain level, I can't take that same mindset when I'm trying to go to the next level, and the same thing for the next level and the next level. Every level is going to require a different mindset. I promise you. I tell you no lies, okay? None. So for an example, the mindset that got you to this point is, I gotta fill my books, like fast. I wanna keep all my clients happy. Like I'm that people pleaser. Stylist, you know if that's you, right? Come to the front. I have to stay super busy. I need my books. Like when I say my calendar needs to be filled, every time slot needs to be locked down. You know, doing your research for like the area. Oh my God, I remember when that was me, where I would like go on Google or go on YouTube or Instagram and just look at what everybody in my area is charging. And then I wanted to price my prices to pretty much match their prices, or even like undercharge a little bit, just so that I could be the go-to stylist. And we're not doing that anymore, not at the next level. And this one, I do not play about today. Saying yes to a client simply because I just want the money, or I don't want to lose the client or the relationship. So I just say yes, knowing it's a hard no. Like that's literally not going to work in your next level. Mind you, none of the things I just listed actually are the blueprint to a profitable business behind the chair. Like they're actually the total opposite, to be honest with you. So I think the real question when you're looking to transition into a luxury extension specialist is, are you operating like a luxury extension specialist, or are you doing the traditional things that a stylist does and now you're just offering luxury extensions? Two totally different things, two totally different concepts, and they require two totally different mindsets. One of the very popular thoughts that a lot of stylists are having is, will the client pay my price? The pricing conversation is such a big one, and we have to stop pricing honestly for the client. In a business mindset and a growth mindset, we're not pricing for the client. We're pricing for the business. So you may be saying to yourself, my clients will not pay this new price point, or that just sounds too expensive, or even nobody around me is charging that, so how am I supposed to charge that? And then this one, I get a lot. Like, what if she goes somewhere else? Like, what if she does her research and I am just not the chosen one because I'm too expensive? Like, what do I do then? And my biggest thing in this whole pricing conversation is, I'm sorry, why is the client determining what your prices are? Like, everything a stylist is thinking is all about the client. Like, will the client pay? Will the client leave? Am I charging too much for the client? Does she have the money? Why is your pricing literally geared around what the client may think? That's the kicker here. Like, you guys, we're not, and this is no shade at all to my stylist. Mind you, I was a stylist for the last 15 years, right? Or for 15 years rather. And the conversation around pricing, even for me, had always been around the clients. But when you transition to becoming a luxury extension specialist, you're no longer pricing for the client, you're pricing for the business, and the business will attract the right client. Remember that, okay? So mindset shift immediately on pricing is that you can't think about pricing, you can't count your clients' pockets. We're not doing any of that in this space. We're building a profitable business around luxury extensions, and those who get it, get it. The key takeaway here is that the client cannot dictate the financial structure of the business. She does not own the business, okay? So she can't tell us how much our overhead is, how much to charge, when to discount, when not. She doesn't own the business. You own the business. So no longer have the mindset that the clients are dictating your pricing, because she's not the owner. Mind you, the client doesn't know your overhead costs, right? And we're not telling her, none of her business, okay? She doesn't know your rent. She doesn't know how much you're paying for the hair. She doesn't know how much the gas is to get from, you know, your house to the salon suite. She doesn't know anything about running the company, marketing, systems, nothing. Okay, so she can't even be a part of this conversation because she doesn't work here. Okay, she just comes in, enjoys her service, feels beautiful as they all do, and then she leaves and she goes to live her happy life. Okay, so we're not even involving her in the pricing conversation because she's not involved in the expense conversation. This is a personal thing here, okay? So you're the CEO, you're the brand owner. Pricing for profit is gonna be the first mindset shift that I want you to make, because the client's gonna come, okay? The client is fine, I promise you. You're the real issue here, so that's what we're talking about. So long story short, we're gonna stop pricing for the client that we're afraid of losing, okay? And we're gonna start pricing for the business's profitability. Even though I know that pricing can be like an emotional conversation and people say, oh, charge your worth, charge your worth. I honestly feel like if we separate the emotion from the price, we would get further in life. Because your worth honestly has nothing to do with the business. You should be pricing based off of the numbers and the numbers alone. Like, what does the service cost to perform? How many hours are you spending at the salon? What profit margins does the business need to be healthy? What does the business actually need to make in order to reinvest? And overall, what does the business need to produce in order for you to profit? Your price point should not be something that you're just like comfortable with saying out loud. It needs to genuinely look good on the paper. Your pricing should not be just like a number you say out loud that makes you feel comfortable or makes the client feel comfortable. Honestly, this number may make you feel uncomfortable, that's fine. But it needs to make sense on paper. Because offering a service like K-Tips for $3,500 does not mean you're actually making $3,500. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm talking taxes, assistants, I'm talking my morning matcha. I'm like, I need to be all the way here with you in order for your install to look good. And there are expenses that we're not talking about as specialists, as stylists, and that the client absolutely could care less about. So in the new mindset shift of becoming a specialist, you're thinking about how I can build a more profitable business behind the chair, but with fewer clients, higher ticket transitions, better retention, better maintenance revenue, so they're coming back more and more, a better client experience, overall better margins. And the biggest one is less physical burnout. Your goal should not to be get more clients. It should honestly just be to build a more profitable, sustainable business. And to be honest with you, I don't want to touch that many heads, me personally. I just don't. I don't want a lot of clients. Like, I just don't want to touch that many heads. I want to love on a nice, cute little clientele and actually run a profitable business behind the chair. And that's what luxury extension does. Like, luxury extensions literally allow you to service fewer clients at a higher price point, love on them, and not wear and tear on your body behind the chair. And you have to be comfortable with losing some clients, you guys. That's what we want. We don't want a lot of clients. We want the right clients. Your current clients may not transition with you, right? Like, they may say you're too expensive. They may say, like, who does she think she is? They may just not be a part of your next level, and that is okay. We have to sit with that and be okay with that, because that is a reality of the situation. You may lose some clients in your transition, but that is the ultimate goal. They can't go with you to the next level, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. They just can't go. So let's tap into your emotions real quick, because some of you may be like, I cannot leave my clients. I love my clients. They're so loyal. Let's just sit with that for a second, because I think we should. I honestly think that we should be grateful for the clients that we have that have gotten us to this point. But you have to still say to yourself that where I am going, the clients may not come with me, right? They may not be a part of my next level, and that is fair. And you have to be okay with that feeling of honestly not, disregarding the fact that your clients have been loyal to you this far. But when we're elevating and we are moving forward, some people aren't going to be able to make it to the next level. You can appreciate your clients that you currently have while also acknowledging the fact that you don't want to remain the same as a stylist. Those two thoughts can coexist. And when you're thinking about your new price point, I don't want you to compare yourself to other stylists in your area, because you don't know their overhead. You don't know what they're spending. You don't know anything about them. I mean, unless you know, like their entire expense list. Do not compare what you see online, because you don't know what's happening in the back end. You don't know if her man is funding her life. You don't know what her rent is. You don't know any of these things, what her overhead is. So you can't just pick a price, compare it to other stylists. Like, I honestly feel like in this space, you are your own, right? I don't really compare myself to many, and I suggest you don't do the same, because you don't know my life and I don't know your life. So how can I compare us in business when I am not a part of your business and I have no clue what's going on behind the scenes, like, at all? Like, honestly, you'll make the mistake, and I've done this in business, comparing myself to someone else and their price point, and I don't even know if they're profitable. And I promise you, when I did that, I noticed that I wasn't profitable. So I'm like, wait a minute, I had to go back and actually do the numbers on paper based on my expenses, based on my overhead, based on my employees, and really look at the margins, because I genuinely priced something based off of someone else and then found out the hard way that I wasn't profitable. So you don't know if they're profitable, and that's nasty work, like nasty. Do not copy someone else's prices, because you could be copying someone else's mistakes. Oh my God. Like, I was so mad at myself. I was like, why did I not look at my business and all the things that I have going on? Okay. You can be copying someone else's mistakes, and that you don't want to find out the hard way. Listen, take it from me. Do your own homework based on your own expenses and price accordingly, not based off of what a girl is doing at all. When I talk about raising prices too, I want to make sure that I'm very clear that as a stylist, there are certain things that you're doing that aren't raising prices worthy, which means you do have to change not only yourself and your business model and things like that, but you have to pretty much elevate a lot in order to be able to raise your prices, command new prices, and sustain those new prices. I'm talking expertise, specialization, customization, your customer experience, quality of hair, consistent results, communication, your environment may need to elevate, and your confidence and your authority has to be top tier. You cannot put a luxury price point on a very basic average experience. That's not gonna work for you, I promise you. It's not going to work. If you want to become a luxury extension specialist, you have to look at your service menu and start scaling back some of those services. You don't need 25 services. You don't even need 10. You don't even need 5 services, okay? You need to scale back those services to specifically niche down to luxury hair extensions and luxury hair extensions only. As a luxury extension specialist too, you're no longer a generalist, right? So I feel like hairstylists are actually the ones that are competing with each other. Like, oh, you do the silk press, you do the sew-in. Like, there's so many stylists out here that you are more of a general pick than you would be as a specialist. So someone who is looking for a specialty service honestly doesn't have that many people to choose from. I can count on both of my hands how many luxury extension specialists, especially in the Black space, that are popular and that are kind of like running in a circle together. And there's so much room for you. So you have to consider that too. Like, you are the majority right now and you want to be the minority. Your time is so valuable. Like, I don't know if we're taking that into consideration either. Like, your time is so valuable. So as a stylist who has, like, say an opening on her books, you're thinking, oh my God, I have to fill this. I have too many gaps in my schedule. As a specialist, when I have gaps in my schedule, I actually get very excited because that means I get to focus on the business and the business's growth. I get to get content. I have content days. I'll do some marketing campaigns. I'll focus on maybe like some retention emails for my clients. Like, there's so many things that I get excited about when I do not have a booking. I don't just try to fill it, right? Because my time is very valuable and it's limited when I'm behind the chair. Even when I'm doing a $3,000 install, I still feel limited because that's all I can do that day. When I have space to help my business scale, that's where the real value lies. I'm telling you guys, you do not want to be booked and busy. You want to be a specialist that can command high prices with less time at the salon, so you can use that other time to help the business scale, to build the business, to nurture your current clients. There's so many things you can do on your off days. Like, I don't want to go. I don't. Like, let's keep it open. Let's keep it wide open, okay? I think what we really need to focus on is what type of business do we genuinely want, right? As a service provider, I had to sit down with myself, my notepad, and write down, what does my dream job look like? Like, I'm building this, right? I'm the CEO. So what does my dream job look like? Like, how many days do you want to work? You know, what do you want your income to look like every month? What type of clients do you want to serve? What level of luxury do you want to offer? These are the things that you have to write down and start building your business around that, and not getting caught and stuck in what you built over the last 10, 15 years. Like, we're evolving, we're changing. There's so much opportunity for you. Now you have to go back to the drawing board and honestly reposition yourself and redesign your dream job. So literally ask yourself these questions. How many days a week do I want to work? How many clients do I realistically want to service every week or every month? What income do I want my business to produce at the end of the week or at the end of the month? What does my ideal client spend at her appointment? That's a good one. Do I want employees? Do I need an assistant? What are we doing here? Am I doing it by myself? Ask yourself that. What do I eventually want to walk away with after all expenses are paid? What is my take home dollar amount at the end of the week or at the end of the month? And last but not least, what type of lifestyle do I want to live, and can this business model sustain that lifestyle? Your pricing, your service menu, and your clientele has to support those answers. If they're not supporting those answers, what are we doing here, okay? This is the next level of the beauty industry. The biggest difference between a hairstylist and a luxury extension specialist is mindset, is business structure. It's not a certificate, it's not learning a quick skill. It is so deep, okay? It's in you, okay? The shift is so personal that there is not one skill you can teach me that is going to be able to just take me to the next level without mentally making those changes. Because if you take the same habits, the same mindset, and the same fears into your new business, you're actually not building a new business, you're building the same business, just with a different service menu. And this is why a lot of stylists are staying stuck. So for more tips on how you can master your craft and scale your luxury extension business, click the link below to join me inside my school, Luxury Hair Extension University. I will see you on the inside. Class is dismissed.